Эштон, Владимир Владимирович Путин, но становишь не забудем. Ну, я твой верный всегда потом.
Are you and your family prepared for a grid failure? Shield yourself from blackouts with a home backup system or portable off-grid solar energy system from Off-Grid Depot. Off-Grid Depot also supplies water pumps, DC appliances, and other products from off-the-grid living. Power your prep. Bug out vehicle, shelter, or remote location with a power system from Off-Grid Depot today. Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Greene. You're tuning into AMTV, Alternative Media Television. I want to wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day today. Love is in the air, especially for Russian President Vladimir Putin and Poroshenko, allegedly coming to a ceasefire agreement on February 15th, one day after today, Valentine's Day. Isn't that cute? Isn't all well? The U.S. stock market trading at an all-time high, the NASDAQ hitting close to or just about record highs as well. A triple in the Dow Jones Industrial Average since the collapse of 2008 and 2009. In fact, turns out money printing into infinity, trillions of dollars worth of excessive debt that saddles our children's future for all of eternity, and of course bankrupts the United States, is actually a good thing. So is 0% interest rates, negative interest rates in Europe. It's all a good thing. Ripping off and screwing over savers in America so they can't get a yield on their investment turns out to be a good thing. And so, as well, this ceasefire will be a good thing, according to the bullshit mainstream media. Now, the first thing you need to know about this Minsk agreement in Minsk, it's the second alleged ceasefire that has only resulted in more death, more murder, more killing, and more war. Now, of course, I've been over this many times before. It's a fact that the United States sponsored the terrorism in Ukraine, sponsored the radical groups that overthrew the formerly elected, democratically elected leader in the name of Viktor Yanukovych, who was friendly with Russia. That is just a fact. It is not my opinion. They since installed Poroshenko, who is a face and a puppet of the West and Western allies. Of course, this was all engineered by the United States of America and the Obama administration, just like they've been overthrowing country after country in the Middle East, whether or not it's Egypt with revolution and re-revolution, or it's a continuation of the wars and bombing campaigns in Iraq, the drone strikes, or it's a brand new war courtesy of Barack Obama, the anti-war president who started a new one and a new campaign in Syria. Even going to Congress last week and asking for authorization even after he's already started and continued the old wars of the Bush era. Now, again, this is the second round of supposed peace, and they're still fighting on the ground. The BBC has reported. I read a report earlier this morning. So what we need to know about this, it's kind of like your drunk uncle going to Betty Ford to clean himself up for the 15th time. Everybody's like, hey, that's good, Uncle Bob. We're really happy for you, but really talking behind his back because you know he'll be back to the bottle in a couple of weeks. Same thing with Ukraine. You see, the United States actually, in actuality, I think is losing this round. Putin still has control of the Crimean Peninsula. The parts of the Ukraine, which are under rebel control, according to the mainstream media, will be able to maintain their autonomy, so to speak. It's called federalizing this part of Ukraine, so they'll still operate independent of the Ukraine that's been toppled by the United States government. Of course, a lot of interest in the Ukraine specifically as a country, namely because Russia has largely had control over the area. The eastern part of Ukraine is largely Russian-speaking. They, of course, export tons and tons of natural gas and petroleum-related products to Europe, of which Russia has enjoyed a monopoly over for years now. It wasn't until the United States sponsored this terrorism through Yanukovych that this became an issue. I mean, we even have U.S. diplomats on tape talking about the coup. Again, this isn't my opinion. This is a fact. The United States government is responsible for the terrorism. In the meantime, in addition to this, the mainstream media pitches and paints a picture like Vladimir Putin
Putin is Hitler, that he's so evil, he's worse than Dr. Evil. He's so crazy and insane in the membrane that he eats American children for breakfast. He just stews them in a pot in the morning. He's so insane that he'll haunt your dreams and touch you in inappropriate places. Maybe that is appropriate on Valentine's Day. I mean, they paint this picture that he's the evil man. Well, I have a question for you. If he's so evil, if he's so crazy, if he's the next Hitler, why does he have the overwhelming support of the Russian people? Why do they love him so much? Why is he so darn popular? Why do the oligarchs still overwhelmingly support Putin even after U.S. sanctions have crumbled their economy in the short run, have pushed the ruble down and collapsed their currency, their system, so to speak? Why would he still have overwhelming support? You know, it's about time Americans actually look at the real culprit. We actually point a finger at the real perpetrators, the real terrorists, the real people starting wars, launching against ISIS or ISIL as a reason and a smokescreen to fight and continue more wars and a continuation in the Middle East. It's time we point a finger at Washington, D.C. and the Obama administration for continuing to allow the National Spying Agency, the NSA, to wiretap our conversations and to tune into our lives through our smart TVs and potentially tape you and your wife getting busy tonight later on. It's time we point a finger at the real culprits, the real terrorists, the real warmongers. Again, Ukraine, just a chess piece in this war game, the East versus the West. What you need to know about Minsk is even though they say it's a peace agreement, there will be no peace. There will be more war. Right after President's Day, we'll get back. The stock market will, get back into its groove or whatnot. People will realize this is all bullshit and it's only going to escalate. Even Francois Hollande of France says this potentially could embroil over into not just a war, but a new war. What we saw during World War II. It could engulf Europe, quite literally. It's exactly why the United States has been pushing against Russia and pushing against the East. It's exactly why they've tactically made this move in the Ukraine. It's all about the build up to war. Not just a little itty bitty war, but a major one. I'm Christopher Greene. Get this video out everywhere, make it viral, hard hitting it in your face, and click the link below to support our sponsor.